Good day, everyone. Our project focuses on the APSA SME Business Management System designed for APSA Bank's small and medium enterprise SME clients. APSA provides a wide range of banking and financial services to help SMEs grow. Most SMEs still depend on manual tools like spreadsheets and paper-based systems to manage finances, HR, and inventory. This lack of integration creates challenges such as duplicated data, inefficient processes, and difficulties in scaling their businesses. Our project addresses these gaps by developing a centralized digital platform that integrates key functions like finance, inventory, HR, and customer relations all in one system fully backed by APSA. Now that you understand our clients, I'll hand over to Zoe to further explain our core problem and what we aim to solve.
SMEs are important to South Africa's economy, but many still rely on manual processes. We found that small business owners spend more time on admin due to the lack of digital tools to automate processes. Our solution is to support these small businesses by creating an all-in-one digital business management system, which will handle HR, invoice, inventory, and CRMs. To make this possible, we utilize the STLC process, and I will now hand over to documentation team.
Our high-level plan. Our high-level plan was divided into phases which included the planning, design, development, testing, and deployment phases. We worked in 2-week sprints to stay aligned and track progress, with each sprint containing a demo and a feedback session. To ensure efficiency, we used Microsoft Teams and GitHub for communication and version control. Tasks were divided based on each team member's strengths. For example, some focused on back-end logic, while others focused on UI design or documentation. We also made sure everyone's availability was considered, especially around exam and work schedules, so our deadlines always stayed realistic.
Our system is made up of 5 key functional modules: financial management, inventory management, customer relations, HR, and systems administration. Our non-functional requirements guided the quality of our system, such as performance, as it's able to take on thousands of users at the same time with no slowdown. Reliability with an uptime of 99.9% and daily cloud backups. We have multi-factor authentication and role-based user access for our security, a clean interface for our usability, and it is scalable as it can take from 100 to over 10,000 SMEs seamlessly.
The system was designed for 4 main roles. Admin manages users and settings. Manager approves leave and monitors finances. Employee submits timesheets and leave requests. Client views invoices and payments. One of the example user stories we had to help us make these 4 roles are: as a manager, I want to approve leave requests so that employee attendance is properly managed. These stories helped us design workflows that are realistic for SME environments.
Good day, I will be taking us through our first feature, which is the finance services. That has 2 views, the employee view and the admin view. This is the employee view that shows the expense management, where employees can see pending approvals, approved expenses, and the total expenses for the month. They can also add new expenses, expense information. As you can see here, they have entered expense details, and once they've saved them, the expense pops up at the bottom. They can also view invoices and download them. In order for them to be able to view an invoice, the invoice needs to be attached to a specific customer. So the first thing they do is create a customer. So they will enter the different types of details, the name, email, phone number. And after they've saved the customer, they can either delete or edit the customer details. And after they've done that, they can then now attach an invoice to a customer. As you see, when they click the customer drop down, it shows them a list of all the added customers, and on there they can then select a customer in which they want to attach an invoice to. They can also add the quantity, the unit price, that then automatically calculates the total price for what is being ordered, and then they can create the invoice, which they can view and download as a PDF. So now we're going on to the admin view. So on the admin view, they see different summaries of paid income, outstanding, total expenses, and new revenue. Here they can view the expenses that need to be approved so that they can approve those expenses. They can approve them or reject them, and they can filter using approved, pending, and all. And then with invoice management, they can export the PDF, and then they can filter using paid, sent, overdue, and cancelled invoices. Customers, they can see customer details, and they can choose to deactivate a customer's account. And then on reports, they see a summary of everything, expenses by category, inventory status by category. And after they have approved an expense, we'll go on to the employee side to check if it says approved. And right there, it says the expense has been approved. Thank you.
So I'm going to take you guys through our current inventory. As you can see on the employee view, you're able to see a table of all the products that the organization currently has, and you're also able to edit those products. Let's add a product now. When you add a product, you're also able to add a supplier. So we're going to add a supplier by filling in all the required information. Once we add a supplier, they will appear in the drop-down list. We will do the same for the add product by putting in an initial quantity amount, an SKU number, product name, and any other information. As you can see, when we've added it, it's now in the table. Okay, if we edit it and we go below the low stock threshold number, our product goes red and there's a warning that shows up saying low stock. Once we have a low stock, we can request stock from the manager. So if we go to request stock, we fill in the form and we request it. You can also track any request that you've made as well as their status. So for now, the request is pending. So now we're going to log out and we're going to go to our manager view. In the manager view, you also have the same table, but this time you're able to reorder items once stock is low. So if you go to reorder, if you put in all the information, what item you need from which supplier, then you can order new items and you're able to track the shipping of this item. So if you go to orders, you'll be able to see shipping, whether it was received, whether it was partially received, and you're able to cancel any orders or submit any errors or damages that the stock may have received. Okay, now if we move on, we can see the earlier stock request that employees made. So you can approve or reject this by adding a note as well. Okay, so we're going to log out and go back to the employee view. As you can see in employee view, our request has been approved. I'm going to hand over to Zoe. She's going to take you through to the HR view.
Moving to HR, employees can submit timesheet entries with the hours worked. Employees can also submit leave requests with validating reasons. This awaits for approval and rejection from the admin. Logging into admin, the admin can view these submissions to approve or reject Here, we approve the leave request. New users who sign up can also be approved or rejected. Here, we approve a timesheet entry. Going back to employee, they can then see their approved or rejected submissions. I will now hand over to Siraj.
Okay, so we will start off with registering a new user, inputting their first and last name and the organization in which they belong to. Then we'll add in their email and their password, and confirming that password. The password requires at least one number and a special character and be at least 6 characters long. And once we confirm that, then can register, decide what type of user, and we'll register as an employee. We'll log in into that account. Then we'll test the login first and see if that works. So now we'll put in some incorrect data. We'll put in the wrong password. Let's see. Okay, it's an invalid login attempt. Now we shall try with a valid login attempt. And now we are in. So we go through our HR view. As you can see, it shows the full name, the employee, and the new record that they added. And now we'll log in again to show you the new product that they added as well. We'll see there's no view request, and then we'll go and show onto the employee profile. You can see the profile, the email, password, two factor authentication, and personal data, and going back to the dashboard. And that's it. Okay, now we're going to do an authenticator. As you can see, we shall now log into a user account quickly, just to display the authentication functionality, the two-factor authentication functionality. So we'll go to our employee profile, and then we'll go to the two-factor authentication tab, add authenticator app, and then we'll scroll down and we'll scan the QR code. As you see this QR code, once we scan this QR code, we shall then input the verification code. And once we add in this verification code, then we can press onto the verify button. There you'll see all the save codes, backup codes. So please, you'll have the user save all those codes, and then we'll have the option to disable the two-factor authentication code and reset the recovery codes as well. So just to test it out, we'll go out, we'll log out, and we'll log back in with the user email and then the user password. Let's do that quickly, and then once we log in, you'll see we now have two-factor authentication. You'll see that it requires the authenticator code, so open your authenticator app. Once you have it open, you'll see that authenticator code, and you'll be able to input it into the input box there. And once you enter it in, you'll then be able to proceed on towards your profile. If you click the remember me under the machine, it will remember this machine, so you won't need to do two-factor authentication on that specific browser on that machine. And that is two-factor authentication. Thank you.